YouTube, it's Satch. Welcome to Drive 81. Welcome to a glorious, sunny autumn day here in Newcastle upon Tyne. Please don't be fooled by my looks. My looks will suggest that I am a yuppie. I am in fact not. I've just come back from a work thing, so hence the reason I'm dressed like this. But I do have a little bit of time to make a video that I've been meaning to make for quite some time now. And it is the discussion which goes on and will continue to go on as well. Which is best, the 991 or the 997 Porsche 911? And since I've owned both of these vehicles, I believe I'm reasonably well placed to make an opinion on which vehicle is best. And before we get into it, it is important to note there is no wrong or right answer, because everybody's answer will differ. You know, for example, you might have one guy who's looking to buy a Porsche 911, who wants a car that he can take around the trash, he can absolutely thrash to bits, he can hammer it around the corners and the twisties on the B roads. So that's what one person might be looking to get out of a Porsche 911. The next guy might be looking for a daily driver, a grand sort of cruiser, something to take his wife out in, something to maybe go to the shops, do a bit of shopping on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and somebody who still wants a 911 but doesn't live life in the fast lane. So all I can really give you is my opinion based on what I want to get out of a Porsche 911. So the 991 is 3.8 400 brake horsepower engine. It has 20-inch alloys and of course it has the PDK gearbox. The yellow 997 is a Carrera 4S, so it's a four-wheel drive. It has 350 brake horsepower and of course it has the manual 6-speed gearbox. And the comparison that I'm going to make, I'm only really talking about the Carrera models. I'm not going to go into anything with regards to the GT3s or the GT2, GT2 RSs, because we need to be on some, although the cars aren't exactly the same, we do need to have some sort of level playing field here. So both of these cars have the sports exhaust fitted. So let's take a look at what the 991 sounds like. And let's take a look at what the 997 sounds like. Both of which are pretty damn awesome. And when it comes to racing these cars around the Nürburgring, both of them are pretty similar. I think the times were about 7 minutes 56. So the 991 was about 0.22 seconds faster than the 997. However, you have to take into consideration that the PDK car will always be that quicker than the manual car, because in the PDK, obviously, you don't have that split-second difference between shifting gears. The gear shift in the PDK, as you probably know, is instant. So let's take a closer look at the 991. And now let's take a closer look at the 997. Now, for anybody who sat in the 991, you will notice instantly when you get into the car that the cockpit and the interior feels a lot more spacious. It almost feels like a saloon car. It seems to be such an infinity of distance to the other side of the car. The cockpit dashboard seems so much longer and it's so much spacious, and it's really not what you'd expect when sitting in the cockpit of a Porsche 911. Having said that, the cockpit flows very nicely. The buttons are all very nice and it flows evenly and everything is well thought out. This has been designed by designers and not engineers. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're getting in the cockpit of the 997, which is what we're in now, there seems to be an absolute mass of buttons all the way down this dash center console here. There's nothing really going on here. It's all sort of right in front of you, so it's not a touch screen either. Having said that, the steering wheel is nice. The dials are pretty standard, no surprises there. But one thing you will instantly notice is that the cockpit is a lot smaller. You almost feel like you're in a really, really small sports car. You feel like you're in a sports car which is smaller than a 911, in fact, almost like a Cayman, in fact. That's the impression that I would get if I was sitting in this car for the first time and I didn't know what car it was. It's nice and compact and you feel really sort of tight and snug in here, and these sports seats really do a good job of that, making sure you are firmly slotted in place and you feel like a real racing driver. So I was telling the wife that I was going to be making this video, and I said to her, try and come up with some questions that I could answer about which car I would prefer, the 997 or the 991. And she's actually come up with some quite good questions, so I'm going to go through those questions now and I'll give you the answers. The first question is, which car would you prefer to drive around town in, do a little bit of shopping in, maybe go for a cup of tea at a tea room in? The answer to that one would be the 991. The next question is, which car would I prefer to take on a track day? The answer to that for me is simple, the 997. Which car would I take on a nice Sunday afternoon to thrash around some bay roads and some twisty roads? 997. Which car would I prefer to turn up in a wedding in? The 991. If I opened the garage door in my house, which car would I like to see parked there? Well, both of them. And finally, which car would I like to take the kids out in? If I was taking the kids away somewhere, which car would I take them in? That would be the 991. So we've got some pretty balanced answers there. Now, please again remember that we're not talking about the GT3, GT3 RS or GT2 RS. We're simply talking about the Carrera models. The Carrera S, Carrera 4S. So another question which is massively debated, and I don't know why people are asking these questions, because it's all down to the individual. Everybody will give a different answer. It's the question of which is better, the PDK or the manual. Well, put it this way, and I'm sure a lot of men can relate. When you were talking as kids, or when you were pretending to drive a car as a kid, and you were sitting there with your hands on the steering wheel, you were driving through the gears, you were going, you weren't sitting there going, So the feeling of going back to what was simple as a child makes you always think of a manual gearbox, and that's the action a lot of people love. For me, the PDK is a box where you are driving it if you're commuting, if you are, like I say, out for a Sunday drive, but nothing too fast or on the twisty roads. You're just going out for a coffee, maybe do a little bit of shopping. You know, you're going to be stuck in traffic. The PDK is the perfect car. But if you're like me and I like to get out on the roads, I like to, mainly a lot of the times that when I'm driving this car, I'm thrashing this car around twisty B roads. So for me, the manual car is always going to be best. But you ask the next guy, he might tell you PDK is best. Like I say, it's all down to the individual and what they look to get out of the car. It's funny because when I was about 30 years old, I said to the wife, I said, look, my plan by the time I'm 40 years old, and I'm 35 now, but my plan by the time I'm 40 years old is to have a Ferrari. Now, it didn't have to be a Ferrari 360, it didn't have to be an F430. I just wanted that Ferrari because to me, having a Ferrari it makes you feel like you've made it and you've done what you set out to achieve with regards to cars. And as the years have gone by and as I've driven these Porsches more, I think to myself, that's bullshit. I don't want a Ferrari at all. Everything I want out of a car, I'm getting from these Porsche 911s. So for me to then put the Porsche 911 aside and go and buy a Ferrari, I would be an absolute idiot. And that's whether I was currently driving a 991 or a 997, 996 even, what's before that, 964, 993. These cars are so iconic, and not that I'm saying I have got the money to go out and buy a Ferrari, but if I did have the money to go out and buy a Ferrari now, like I say, it wouldn't be a Ferrari. I'd be going out to buy a GT3 or a GT3 RS, or some turbo spec car even. That's what driving these cars does to you. It turns you into a purist, and you can still be a car fan and you can still like the Ferraris. However, give me a choice between a Ferrari and a Porsche, and I'll go for the Porsche any day. So in summary, what I'm saying is the 997 feels like a race car for the road. The 991 feels like a road car for the road. You see where I'm going with this? When I'm driving a car, I want all the driver input to come from me. I want everything. I want to feel everything that's going on the road, through the steering wheel, through the pedals, as a direct result of what I'm doing with these three pedals down here. I don't want no driver assist shit coming in. I don't want stop start or hybrid battery power. It doesn't matter if I'm going fast or if I'm going slow. I want everything to happen as a direct result of what I'm doing, and I want to feel everything in this car. In this car, I can feel everything that I'm doing, and I mean everything. I don't need stop start. I don't need a multi-function steering wheel. I don't even need a radio. Take that radio, put it in the trash. I don't care. I don't need that in this 911. I want a car that's just raw, 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 raw. But you know, the 997 is not just a track-focused road car. You can turn the radio on, you can turn the sports exhaust off, you can put the suspension back to normal. You can have it as a daily driver. You can take the kids out in this car. I've taken kids out in this car. My kids I will add, in this car, and there was no problems at all. It is a perfect, versatile car. And I think by what I'm saying, you've probably gathered which 911 is the car for me. The next car you see will be the car of my choice. So thanks for watching YouTube. I hope this video has given you a few helpful hints or tips, or if you're actually in the market for a Porsche 911 and you're unsure as to whether to go for a 991 or a 997 or a PDK or a 6-speed manual, then hopefully this may have given you a few sort of hints and tips. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. We are approaching 20,000 subscribers and we are just under 20 million hits and views, video views in fact. So I can't thank you enough for that. That's absolutely phenomenal. But I'll obviously be back every week with more videos, mainly Porsche videos, but I do all sorts of other videos as well on other makes and models, whatever I can get my hands on. So if you want to throw a car my way and I can feature it on the channel maybe in the next few months, the email address is directly below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.